A tough conversation is the one you don't want to have.
Mm.
So there's so many, like I was raised in an Australian town by Australian working class parents, and I wasn't taught to talk about awkward things. We just swept it under the carpet and didn't talk about it. I mean, my sister died when I was 7 years old. My little sister died, and we didn't talk about it because we weren't trained to handle difficult conversations. And fortunately, at the age of 27, I discovered personal growth and coaching. And I've found that almost every time I've had a tough conversation, I feel good about myself because I stood up and I spoke and I expressed myself. And then often the relationship will shift and change and we get more connected because we're talking about something real. And then sometimes I actually get what I'm looking for. It might be a result. I want to change someone's behavior. I want to, who knows what it is. So there's a lot of profit I found to having a tough conversation, and it's scary. That's why we call it tough. There's something in it for us that we're afraid of or scared of. And my job is to help people look at the profit. Look at what the scary bit is and what you might lose, because usually you could lose something. And then what's the gain that could come from it? And in my experience, there's profit. Usually the gain is greater than the potential risk. So I'm an evangelist for it. And I want everybody to identify their tough conversations, because that's really often the hard part. We don't even know what they are. And then once we know what they are, let's stop avoiding them and lean into them and have them with some skill so that we can transform the world.
It's so, so powerful. You're saying so many great things. I just want to kind of underscore, if I may.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're kind of on the other side of having taken these risks and had the courage to face these conversations, but also to have experienced the benefits, so much so that you are really confident in the process. It probably doesn't maybe take away the discomfort when you know you have a difficult conversation you need to have or a tough conversation you need to have, but that it kind of focusing your mind on the long-term benefit helps you tolerate some of that short-term discomfort. Is that right?
Well, I would agree that, like, initially the mind, if it sees the conversation, the mind says, oh, don't do that. That's not a good idea. But often the mind will just hide the conversation from you anyway and just say, she's being a bitch, or he's just like that. And it doesn't even occur to the mind that that could be a conversation that could go well. I run people through a 4-step process. And one of the steps in the 4 steps is to create a hope for the conversation. And that's where you look at, like, what would be a great outcome? This is what's going to drive you forward and have you actually want to do it. Plus, when you tell the other person, this is my hope out of this conversation, now you can come together and you're on the same page. At least they now understand why you're bringing up this awkward thing.